Pennzoil Synthetics with Pure Plus technology makes this the time for performance. Winter is here, but with cold start protection and excellent performance in extreme temperatures, Pennzoil Synthetics keeps your engine purring, so you'll know winter is here isn't as ominous as it sounds. Visit Pennzoil.com and make the switch today.
And now, Jalen and Jacoby on ESPN Radio.
When I pop the trunk, head to death. Y'all pop the trunk, I pop the hood.
Now act stupid, I'll pop the trunk. Now give me your boom.
He is Jalen Anthony Rose.
What up, though?
I am David Jacoby.
And on the cool check-in.
And we
Center
are Jalen.
stage on the mic.
And we putting it on wax.
And we're Jalen Jacoby. What do we do?
Give the people what they want.
Jalen, something happened on the show yesterday that needs to be addressed. I believe it is addressed in our voicemails. If you call 985-80-JALEN, you can leave us a voicemail. We need female voicemails for Woman Crush Wednesday. Remember, ladies, call 985-80-JALEN.
Hey, ladies!
Leave us voicemails. We'll do only female voicemails tomorrow on the show. But today, we have to address a very important issue. Let's listen to the first voicemail.
What up, Jalen Jacoby? It's Lewis from Savannah, Georgia, Seaport. It's 1 o'clock in the morning. I cut the TV on and see Jalen Jacoby on. And I noticed this man Jalen got the thickest goatee I've seen since Mike Brown. Bruh. No, I lie. Mike Woodson, my fault. Mike Woodson. Bruh, how in the world your goatee get so thick? Cause mine can't even. I ain't got my mustache game to get it thick like that. That thing on point, big dog. Appreciate it. Give the people what they want. It's late night, so this gotta be for the pod only. Alright.
Lewis wants to know how you get your goatee so thick.
Thank you for the love. Appreciate the call.
Shout out.
My goatee literally just grows like this because I can't get a beard, I think. It was a little too dark yesterday. Had a bad hair day as it relates to the coloring of it because I wanted to try to see if I could do the Beijing on the goatee and not just on the hairline.
Mm-hmm.
And I jumped up out of the chair. My guy's so A+, I never even look at a mirror. I jump in the car, got some breakfast, went to the cab, sat down in the chair, doing the show. And my brother Jacoby's like, hey, man, that thing's a little too dark or a little too thick or a little bit of both.
Something ain't right.
What's going on there?
It looked like you drew it on with a Sharpie.
I've been sitting in front of you 6 years. I've never seen it that way.
Uh-huh.
And I didn't pay attention to it until I looked at it. I'm like, oh, okay. But here's the thing. I'm rocking it thick like this as a tribute to some of my favorite OGs.
Okay.
In particular, my late, great biological father, Jimmy Walker, Clyde Frazier, Wilt Chamberlain. That's how they rocked it back in the 70s. So it's just a way to pay homage. So just let it grow wide. And for some reason, and I'm happy about this, it doesn't fill up in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
My brother Juwan Howard, he likes to rock his where his full in the middle. But mine won't grow right here. So I can keep the inside all natural and just keep it wide, like a Fu Manchu almost.
I don't think that's the last voicemail we have on this very important topic.
Jalen and Jacoby. This is Gary Potter from Rochester, New York. Jalen, not a boss move with the Beijing paint on the face for the mustache, man. Come on, man. I was born in Detroit, too. You better than that. Not a boss move.
Thank you for the love. Appreciate the call. What up, though? See, here's the thing about me I want people to understand.
Please.
Sometimes your critics are right.
Exactly. You gotta be, you have to be self-aware enough to understand that if we got 17 voicemails about your goatee, it probably looked funny.
How about this, though? I've been doing television for 15 years. That's the first time I've heard that. Bad hair day.
Mm-hmm. It happens to everybody, Jalen Rose. It happens to everybody. You know what? I appreciate, just like a good friend to let you know when there's something in your teeth, I appreciate all callers because they were very concerned. We got a lot of voicemails about this, and we're not going to play them all, but they were very concerned about your goatee. You know, you had a little Keith Hernandez going. That's just what happens. Beijing is not just a city in China. Beijing is not just a city in China. Beijing is also a hair product. I didn't know about it until this show, but now I do know that Beijing is a thing that you put on your hair.
But here's what I'm truly doing with my platform that I don't want people to overlook. I'm trying to bring this hairstyle back in style. There's a lot of looks going on right now. The mohawks, the trife looks, a lot of different styles going on. I'm trying to bring this hairstyle back. Now let's see who's rocking it after we have this conversation.
Reggie really wants us to play another voicemail, Jalen.
Play a lot of them. It's fun.
Something tells me it's on the same topic.
Listen, man. Jalen, I look up to you, B. You're talking about hairlines. I'm talking about lip lines. Let the mustache go. That looks Sam Bowish. Please, brother. Please. Let that go. No. I see your hairline up there darkened up a little bit, but let that lip go.
See, now I got to stand up for my guy. Let me tell you something. Jalen Rose gets his professional lineup like every 2 or 3 days. And every single day, it's like every single day the hairline is crispy and the goatee line is crispy. We've been doing this show. We've probably had 200 shows a year for 2 years, and then one a week. We've probably done 500 shows, and I would say 499 of them you looked on point. And when you have one off day, and all of a sudden now people talk about I used to look up to you. You know what I mean? Like now it's like we're taking this too far. It was like you used to be a hero of mine. You used to be something that I cared about. Like they jumped ship because you had one weird day at the barber.
And also, I must stress this. First off, here's what I appreciate. Each of the callers are calling like they can text me. I love that our show is intimate.
They're calling like they're kind of disappointed, like you let them down.
I like that, though.
Yeah, me too.
We always talk about the fact that our show isn't a concert. It's a tastemaker show. Mm-hmm. It's really intimate. For those that are included, it's almost like a family. So I appreciate that. But also, to your point, I have to acknowledge this. I done spoiled everybody.
You have.
I done spoiled everybody.
No one cares. My hair's not right now. It's not even a fade. It's just a one clip from a week ago. No one cares. You know, no voicemails about my hair. No one voicemailing about my gray hair.
Millions of people
nose.
Doing television.
Yeah, exactly.
I done set the expectations so high.
Yeah.
I'm like Aaron Rodgers. I got to throw Hail Marys now.
Exactly. You got to throw him. Just go bald. Just to go back to bald, Jalen. That was a good look.
But here's what also happened yesterday that I was disappointed in.
Uh-oh.
Do we have any more conversational voicemails about this topic? Because I want to make sure we own it.
I think that's enough. Yeah, we're good with those.
Okay. I was a little disappointed in a lot of the tweets I saw relating to the Usher coverage.
Oh, really?
I was. There was a lot of body shaming going on with the individual who was standing next to an attorney.
I didn't like that.
I have to say this. And I was going to wait till Women Crush Wednesday to really stress this, but I don't have to wait. I have to stress this. If that was your sister, if that was your daughter, if that was your mother, how about that's just a human being? Mm-hmm. We don't know what happened. Okay? The subject should not be about how she looks.
No.
And therefore, that validates whether he slept with her or not. That is ignorant, everybody. And it was one of the things that when I looked down at my phone, the first thing I said is, see, this is why I don't be on Twitter and social media like that no more. That's the first thing I said. And so for everybody who took that overtone, check yourself, number one. Two, I have to divulge something that's really important.
Uh-oh.
Don't gauge somebody based on how they look, male or female, the decisions they may make personally as it relates to their relationships. You'd be surprised at some of the decisions people make in that area. Don't body shame anyone. That's rude, it's disrespectful, and it's a flagrant foul, and I'm calling you on it.
Good. Well, some people are calling us. They're calling 985-80-JALEN, leaving us voicemails not related to Jalen Rose's crazy goatee from yesterday. Let's listen to those.
Jalen Jacoby. It's Charlie from the Mile High City. Just wanted to give an RIP to one of my favorite rappers of all time, Sean Price. Died 2 years ago today.
Shout out.
On a lighter note, I got a soft move or a boss move for you. My girlfriend's mom called me, told me she has a ring for me to use as an engagement ring to give to her daughter. Here's the thing. It came from her ex, who was my girlfriend's dad. Style move or boss move, getting a free engagement ring from your girlfriend's mom and using it.
So, his girlfriend's mom gave him a ring from her ex to give to her daughter as an engagement ring. The family heirloom engagement ring is always a boss move. It saves you a lot of money. However, it does have a little bad juju on it because it came from your girl's mom's ex. So here's what you do. You just remix it a little bit. It'll cost you about $1,000. You take it to a jeweler. You put your own touch on it. You get something engraved on the middle or something. You make sure that it's unique to her and to you. You personalize it a little bit. So therefore, it's like burning sage in a new apartment. It gets rid of all the bad juju.
I agree with my brother David Jacoby. There's nothing else to add to the part about the ring, but I will add the ultimate boss move has taken place here. You found a way to not only attract love in your mate, but her mom loves you?
Exactly. You know when your mom gives the mom gives the ring, she's like, you better hurry up then. And also, one thing that will not go unrecognized, Sean P. Sean Price, one of the best to ever do it. Ruck and Rock, one of my favorites. Helter Skelter Nocturnal, one of my favorite albums. Sean Price is hanging here in the studio. It's in an off-camera position, but he's always looking down on us as we do this show.
Hit the brakes. I had to say something about the authenticity of our show. And I appreciate, again, being clowned about my bad hair day. We appreciate all of the callers. We appreciate all of the support for 6 years. People knowing our catchphrases.
We don't mind
knowing
criticism.
Our staff. This is people knowing our significant others. Like, we appreciate all things. But I have to stress this. I don't need Colin Kaepernick to take a knee for the flag for me to have immortals up on the wall like the Ali Summit or Tommy Smith and John Carlos at the Olympics. My brother David Jacoby doesn't have to wait to a birthday to have Sean P. hanging in the studio. He's already up there. So I just have to stress that I appreciate being a part of a program that's as real as it gets. And it's because the people continue to support us so we don't have to sell out.
That being said, we're now going to sell out and go to our television content.
What if I told you some stories you need to hear to believe?
It was the rivalry of the hammer and the nail, and Boston was the nail.
You would hear Yankees suck at a funeral, Yankees suck at a football game.
The second we said Yankee suck t-shirts, people just crowded around us and bought them as fast as we could sell them.
The all-new 30 for 30 podcast. Subscribe now on the ESPN app or Apple Podcasts.
30 for 30 podcast is presented by Mini. We're finding the best sports stories for you right now. And to do that, we're behind the wheel of the new Mini Countryman, the biggest Mini yet.
Please proceed to the highlighted route.
To find great sports stories, you have to get out into the world and follow your instincts. That's where the new Mini Countryman's all-wheel drive comes in handy. With all four, we can chase down a story in the city, the country, and most places in between. No matter what story you're chasing, the new Mini Countryman will help you find it. It's available now, and so are 30 for 30 podcasts.
We're going to start the day. Robert Horry attending what I believe is his son's basketball game outside at the LA Live Plaza in a 3-on-3 tournament. Things got a little heated between him and a supporter of the opposite team. There was this physical confrontation. Not really sure who started or who's at fault. What I am sure of is this guy with the umbrella won the video. Jalen Rose running over to break up a fight between a professional athlete and someone else while holding an umbrella. Soft move or boss move?
That is a soft move.
Oh, I love it. I disagree completely.
No question about it. It wasn't a torrential rain pour.
No, I know. It's the first thing I thought, too. I was like, is it raining? I was like, it didn't rain. It was just hot out. It gets hot.
And we clearly know this area very well as we reside here really often. How about this? The fan or the person that got into the altercation with Robert Horry actually pushed up on him.
He did.
Gave him a little nudge.
Shout to him. Who looks at Robert Horry, who's like got to be 6'9". He's probably 270 at this point. He just pressed up on Horry. I love this guy with the umbrella, though, because, listen, I understand why he has the umbrella to shade him from the sun. I've played in that tournament. It gets very hot. It's a long day when you're outside. But when you start to run, just the idea that he was just running with it like he was in Sounds of Music or something, I absolutely loved it. Shout out to Mary Poppins breaking up the fight.
No question about it. He was on this Rihanna umbrella, Ella. He was like, this thing is glued to my hand.
Yeah, he's like, you know what? I might get myself into a fight, but I'm not going to get myself a sunburn, okay?
But here's the other thing. First off, if you're going to put yourself in the middle of an altercation, you might want to close the umbrella in case you got to use it as a weapon.
Or put it down in case you have to use your hand. You know, he certainly had his priorities straight. Skincare, number 1. Breaking up a physical altercation, number 2, in that order. Obviously, physical confrontations aren't funny, but running after them with an umbrella on a sunny day is funny. Moving on to this, David Griffin, former general manager of the Cleveland Cavaliers, was right here in this building on the jump. He had something very interesting to say about Kyrie's trade request.
Well, I think Kyrie's going to end up getting traded. But I think what Ron was saying is really unfair to Kyrie. I don't think this is youth and ignorance. This is a guy who handled this situation exactly like he was supposed to. He went to Dan Gilbert privately, told him that he thought he would be happier somewhere else. The absolute worst thing this guy could have done was pretend to be all in and sink the ship from within. Most guys don't have the courage to do what he did. So that's not youth and ignorance. That's a little bit more courage than people give him credit for.
Was Kyrie being courageous by asking for a trade from the Cavs?
I don't think courageous is actually the term. I think that's what happens when you enlist in the military and you go and defend our country. I think he handled it with fidelity, however. And here's what I mean. It's not something that he did through the media. It's not something that he was boisterous about. He went straight to the owner, eye to eye. He let him know his request, and then all of a sudden it got leaked to the public. He wasn't radical in any way, shape, or form. He's not sending out any tweets or any social media posts about not wanting to be a part of the team. He just let it be known that he doesn't want his future to be in the current situation that it is right now.
You did bring up something interesting. You said leaks. And also, what Mr. Griffin said was he went to the owner privately. There's all sorts of points in one direction. Do you see what direction I'm headed in with this?
The owner clearly shared that with an iconic player in LeBron James, as has been taking place in the history of the NBA, and rightfully so. Once you decide that you want to leave, you have to also get other teams involved. You have to survey the market for a said player. So the leak could have come from anywhere at that point, because you're now getting other teams, other agents, other situations, other players, other salaries, all involved in a big-time scenario.
Yes, it is hard to keep something like this quiet. You cannot trade Kyrie Irving without talking to someone else about trading Kyrie Irving. It gets very difficult to do so. He also said that he believes that Kyrie will end up getting traded. I do not think it is in the Cavaliers' best interest to trade Kyrie Irving. Why do you think Mr. Griffin is so sure about Kyrie getting shipped out? Or sorry, I know you don't like that word, getting traded.
Right. I think the reason he truly believes that it's going to happen is about the timing. And when you put it out there at this point of the summer, headed into the season, as he also stated, it now becomes a scenario where all of the other guys know that you don't want to be there anymore. And when that does take place and LeBron James is in the final year of his contract, you put the franchise in a position to choose who you want to keep long term. And at this point, it has to be LeBron, considering that he's in the final year of his deal, and you want to try to do what you can to try to keep him in tow.
Do you think when they trade Kyrie Irving, they will have that in mind? We're trying to make a move that will make LeBron want to stay here in Cleveland.
Well, here's what you don't want if you're the Cleveland Cavaliers. A team that brought that city its first professional championship in over 50 years, has gone to 3 straight NBA Finals. You don't want to take winning for granted, and you do not want to look up in 2 years and you don't have either player on your roster.
Somewhere Kevin Love is going to be like, how am I the only all-star on the Cavs? Like, what happened? It's just like me and like Josh Jackson and Eric Bledsoe. Like, how did this even happen? Now all of a sudden I'm like the featured offensive player on the Cleveland Cavaliers. Obviously, we'll keep an eye on all of that, but I just find it very interesting, some of the comments that he made. And I am curious how this information got out, but it is likely a different team that was engaged in potential trade talks. And of course, amidst all this, as he does, LeBron James has a cryptic tweet. This one says, "Never let another ride your wave," with a wave emoji. What does that mean, Jalen?
A couple of things. He's thinking about a do-rag because he's talking about waves, knowing that he could petition the NBA to be the first guy to rock one during the game.
That's obviously the first thing he was thinking. What else do you think he was thinking?
The other thing is, when you talk about somebody riding your wave, it's almost unfortunate for me to use that term because as a team, you become family, and you would hope if it is a cryptic tweet toward Kyrie, he would view him more as a protege than somebody that's riding his wave. So I hope that that's not for him. That could be for the gentleman Lambo. We don't know.
Oh, yeah.
So let's not just act like every time he sends out something, it's against Kyrie Irving. And let's not make it LeBron James' fault that Kyrie Irving decided that he wanted to get traded.
It is not LeBron James' fault that Kyrie Irving decided to get traded. But I will say this, though. LeBron James is self-aware enough to know that if he does tweet this, someone will read this or misread this as a dig at Kyrie, and he does it anyway. So therefore, he is somewhat implicit in this sort of media cycle, is he not?
Again, it's all about how you want to take it. I put out the information. You decipher it how you please. He has no reason to explain every time he presses send.
But he shouldn't have to explain. He always leaves enough wiggle room for us to take the logical leap to make it seem like it's a dig at one of his teammates. And he does that very much intentionally because he's very intelligent. You know that, Jalen. I know you know that.
This is why he has multiple millions of people actually following him, interested in what he's going to send next.
It's really about do-rags. It's really about do-rags. Let's be honest. Jay Cutler is the new Miami Dolphin. Dolphins fans, I feel, have mixed feelings about this. It seemed like Cutler had some mixed feelings about joining the team himself. Let's give a listen.
And it was really, pretty good with where I was in my life. I was around the kids a lot, and felt pretty content. So weighed back and forth on this. I'd probably say my wife, Kristen, probably talked me into it more than anybody else could.
My wife, Kristen, probably talked me into it. That's not what you want to hear from your new starting quarterback of a playoff team. I don't even want to be here. My wife talked me into it. She wanted me out of the house.
I think you media types are overblowing and mincing his words way too much.
That's what he said.
Here's what I want everybody to understand. Jay Cutler may not be an elite quarterback. He's not going to be in the Hall of Fame, and he's not going to be in the Pro Bowl this year. But guess what happened? Somebody decided to pay him $10 million to play football. Get over it, everybody. Of course he was content. Of course he was spending time with the kids.
Of course his wife wants him to go make $10 million.
It's called being retired. That's what he did. They came and got him out of retirement. He wasn't putting up Instagram videos of him throwing through a tire, trying to get picked up by a squad. He was on vacation, photoed naked and enjoying the off season because he had retired. Now all of a sudden he's back in a huddle trying to play and be productive. Let's see what takes place.
In the same press conference, he said that he was lucky that quarterbacks don't have to be in cardiovascular shape. He literally is saying that he's out of shape and that his wife is forcing him to play football, Jalen. And you're saying it's no big deal. We're just media types mincing his words?
Of course. We've showed multiple athletes on this show this week. Kobe Bryant, Derek Jeter, Robert Horry. When you're retired, you're not in your best physical shape. So what do you guys want him to get up there and do? Take off his shirt and flex like he's Hulk Hogan on the first day?
Yes.
That's unrealistic.
I have a theory about Jay Cutler. And as someone who has big bags under his eyes, I feel like Jay Cutler's bags under his eyes hold him back. I feel like us media types just read a lot into that, make it seem like he's not interested or he doesn't want to be there or he's hungover or something. Sometimes it's just genetics, man. We stand with you. The minivan mafia and the bags under the eyes mafia. Jalen Rose has never officially officially retired from the NBA. Never filled out his paperwork. Still holding out hope that some team will call looking for someone to shoot corner threes and only shoot corner threes. However,
you saw what happened to Jay Cutler, right?
Vince Wilfork has retired. He announced his retirement with this kind of like announcement / party invite / ad for charcoal thing. Now, normally, I detest all of this sort of branded content announcement fake stuff. But when it's Vince Wilfork in overalls, you just got to let it slide. Soft move or boss move, announcing your retirement in an ad.
Boss move. A few reasons why. Number one, he can hoop. Don't sleep on the big fella.
Really?
He got a hoop game. Also, I like when people stay true to their identity. He's always had a really good personality. Mm-hmm. He's been a productive football player, 5-time Pro Bowler, 2-time champion. Houston was an elite defense this year in his final season that basically led that team to the playoffs. His last name, W-I-L, what are the last 4 letters?
F-O-R-K.
Fork. Okay? He's a big dude. He's eating good. He loves to be on the grill. I appreciate that. And as you mentioned, he used it as a promotion to now tailgate the day before their game so that now he can take care of the sponsor. Mm-hmm. He can make sure he champagnes and campaigns with the fans.
Oh, yeah.
And throws his own retirement party. Boss move.
What I love about his retirement party is it's not in Houston. It's in New England. He's like, yeah, Houston, I loved all that money that you paid me. We had some good times. But I'm going back to where I won the championship. I'm going back to where I spent most of my time in career. I'm going back to where the people really love me to celebrate my retirement and smoke up all of these ribs. I really want some Vince Wilfork ribs. I really, really do. Every time I see him on the grill, it looks so good. And you can tell he's been eating well.
You already know what's next.
Talk to me.
They'll be in supermarkets.
They will. You can definitely see that. So, you know what? Dirty secret, everybody. Buy those frozen ribs that are pre-cooked. Throw those on the grill for like 8 minutes and act like you smoked them for 8 hours. They taste the exact same, and they're tender and delicious. Boss move.
I'll take an agency cut, Big Vince.
Andrew Wiggins is not on the trading block, according to the owner of the Timberwolves, Glenn Taylor. He's also about to be offered a max extension. But first, Taylor wants to set up a face-to-face, man-to-man meeting before he offers that extension. Here's what he said, quote, I'm already extending to him that I'm willing to meet the max, but there are some things that I need out of him, and that is the commitment to be a better player than you are today. Jalen, take us behind the curtain. Why does Glenn Taylor want this one-on-one meeting?
He questioned the motor of Andrew Wiggins. Mm-hmm. That's truly what he's doing when he says, I want to look you eye to eye and see if you're committed to take your game to the next level. That's an owner, in his opinion, that sat back and watched a player that has teased a lot of us with his talent. And before I give him a big-time contract, I want to know if he's going to be able to take it to the next level. And don't say that he's not going to get traded. Because if Kevin Durant becomes available or LeBron James becomes available...
Oh, he's gone.
He's gone. So that commentary is not necessarily accurate. But also, here's the thing if you're Wiggins. Get on a plane. Somebody trying to give you $150 million.
What else are you doing?
You guys would not have known about this. Yes. I would have been on a plane so fast.
Thank you.
You wouldn't have been able to report this story.
Thank you. I see two sides of this. Like, I see Glenn Taylor's side is like, look, I'm about to pay you $154 million American dollars. All I want you to do is sit down and talk sweet to me for an hour over a nice steak in Minneapolis. Like, that's all I want from you. I'm not asking much. On the flip side, if I'm Andrew Wiggins, I'm like, you know how many games I've played in this uniform. You've seen me play. You've seen me in practice. You are the boss of everybody at the franchise. You can talk to them about my work ethic. I've put it all on wax. What do you need me to do? Come to you and lie to you for 45 minutes about how hard I'm going to work for you before you give me this deal? Just give me the deal. Which side do you think is more in the right?
Well, the bottom line is you don't get what you deserve. You get what you have the leverage to negotiate. And whether he sit down and had his meeting or not, he's going to get a max deal. So basically, I have to side with Wiggins, a 20-point scorer, who does still have a level of talent to take his game to the next level.
Yeah, he's like
if
23.
The Minnesota Timberwolves are going to be an elite level team based on the progression of Karl Anthony Towns, the addition of Jimmy Butler. We know what they've done in the offseason, and Jamal Crawford and Teague. If they are going to be that team that propels themselves, it's going to have to be Wiggins playing at an all-star caliber level, especially if you're paying them max dollars.
Can I do the media member thing where I read way too much into this and just try to create some drama out of nothing?
Sure.
Can I please? Is there a part of Andrew Wiggins that's looking at the acquisition of Jimmy Butler, that's looking at the relationship between Thibodeau and Butler and says, wait a second, he's on my corner, that's my spot, I'm not sure that I'm as committed to this team as this team is pretending to be committed to me?
Oh, that's the A side. I'll give you a B side.
Okay.
That's exactly what's happening in Boston with Brad Stevens and Gordon Hayward. When you see Isaiah Thomas pulling up with the slides and talking about paying me with the Brinks truck.
Exactly.
It's the exact same thing.
Oh, you guys have been
have
friends since he was 17? Oh, you guys are boys? Oh, you two know each other so well? You're going to run some of those old Butler plays and hug each other on the sidelines and be all buddy-buddy during practice while I'm over here scoring 30 points a game without a contract? Is that what's going to happen here in Boston? I love this.
So Wiggins and Isaiah have that in common at this point, and they both are acknowledging in their own ways. I'm taking top dollar. I know y'all cool and everything, and I know we about to win some games, and the goal is to get a championship, no doubt. And it's not personal against Jimmy. I got love for Gordon. As a matter of fact, because we got him, we championship contenders. But I'm not taking a penny less.
Exactly. It's all love. It's all good. We're all on the same team. We're all in the same huddle. We all have the same goal. But at the end of the day, I do need my money. And there's a little part of me that believes that Wiggins will sign this deal and stay in Minnesota with the Timberwolves. Not so sure about Isaiah Thomas. I am sure about this, though, that Jalen Rose loves to yell the nickname of DeMarcus Cousins.
Boogie!
The Pelicans' DeMarcus Cousins
Boogie!
put up a photo of him and Carmelo Anthony in their Team USA jerseys, just having a good time, laughing in their Team USA jerseys. And the caption said, Olympics reunion in the Big Easy, ? Boogie has apparently been sort of politicking around through NBA back channels, trying to bring people into New Orleans to join him and Anthony Davis with the Pelicans. What do you think about Boogie's recruitment tactics, bringing people to the Pelicans?
I'm not mad at it at all. And if the Pelicans are going to be a team who was on the outside of the playoffs looking in and actually is participating, these are the kind of things that are going to take place. They need a game-changing move, in particular on the wing, that helps balance off the interior dominance that they're going to be able to put on display with Boogie and Davis. Obviously, it's great that they re-signed Drew Holiday. Rajon Rondo is going to give them some good floor leadership. But bringing in a player like Carmelo Anthony does change the look of that dynamic. But here's the thing. Melo ain't going around with them.
Yeah, Melo's not going to. Again, he will text you, Boogie. He will say, I would love to run with you. He will definitely text you. But when it comes time to waive the no-trade clause to go to New Orleans, not going to be able to do it. Jason Tatum, the Celtics' first-round draft pick, is selling a new narrative. He was on the WTF in the Attic podcast, and he had this to say, quote, the Celtics were always going to pick me number one, but Philly didn't know that. Philly thought that Boston was going to pick Markelle, so Philly traded the pick and gave Boston a pick for next year. Do you buy Jason Tatum's narrative that the Celtics were always going to pick him number one?
Sit down. Be humble. You balled in the summer league, young fella. I saw you doing work. He's going to be able to get buckets in the league. He was the best fit for the Boston Celtics, in particular because he's more polished offensively right now than Josh Jackson, can get his own shot, and is going to give him another weapon up front. However, they weren't taking you number one, dog.
They were not taking you number one. No. That was not the plan. That's what they told you. I believe that's what they told you. I believe that you are not lying on this podcast. I believe that you believe what you are saying, but they were not going to take you number one.
Here's actually what took place. Danny Ainge basically said it. They felt the top three players were comparable to one another. So if that's the case, I might as well trade back, get an asset, and still pick a player that I'm happy with. That's what took place. It wasn't necessarily like, oh, we want him regardless. Yeah. Because if that was the case, and they felt like, oh, you was Tim Duncan, number one, and they wanted to make sure they got you, they wouldn't have traded back.
If you were the number one pick, Jason Tatum, you would have been the number one pick. Jalen Rose, it is not a black or white world. It is not a yes or no world. It is not binary. We explore all of the gray areas in this world with a segment called 0 to 100. Jalen Rose, when I saw this video, it blew my mind. In Virginia, there was a car seemingly driving itself around the streets. However, when approached, it was revealed that there was a gentleman dressed as a car seat driving a car. I'm going to say that again. There is a person dressed as a car seat driving a car. 0 to 100. How weird is this?
It's not as weird as it sounds because you're trying to advance technology, so...
Wait. Advanced technology by dressing up as a car seat? Is that taking us forward? Is that the future?
It's only 40% weird.
Okay, no. Jalen Rose, a human being, said, you know what I'm going to do today? I'm going to put on a car seat costume and drive around the streets of rural Virginia. And you're saying that's 40% weird. I think your answer is 100% weird.
That sounds like something he's doing because it's his job. So therefore, I can't clown him for doing something he's probably getting paid to do. Okay. And there are a lot of people out there that are going to be into the driverless cars. Now, I'm 100% against that.
No.
But I'm only 40% going to say it's weird that he's doing his job.
I'm not letting you get away with this. Okay, let's just say you're right, that this person is doing their job. There were some reports that maybe there were just some sort of consumer research about people's reaction to driverless cars. Okay, fine. But how weird is it that someone said, do you know what we should do? We should dress up as car seats and drive around and see how people react to that. Do you know how people are going to react to that? They're going to think it's weird, and they're going to put it on TV and say it's 100% weird unless they're Jalen Rose and say it's 40% weird.
Well, you got to get the true testimony from the people. How can you do that if they look in the vehicle and they see a human being?
That's the thing. You can see the person's hand.
Nobody's driving.
But you can see the person's hands popping out of the bottom. It's even stranger. Do you know what people's reaction to a driverless car is?
Well, he got to do a better job of holding the bottom of the steering wheel.
I just don't understand what anyone is trying to accomplish with this practice. It is just silly. It is stupid. Whose job is this? And if that, look, however you have to make a living in this world, God bless you. No matter what your occupation is. But I'm calling out sick. I'm calling out sick. The day they tell me that I have to dress up like a car seat and drive around, I'm calling out sick that day. I definitely came down with the flu or something, food poisoning, whatever it is.
How about this? There's a reason why when you're sitting in the driver's seat of a vehicle, the windshield is a lot larger than the rearview mirrors. What's happening in front of you is a lot more prevalent than what's taking place in the past.
Jalen, what do you think is weirder? Seeing a driverless car driving down the street or seeing a person dressed up as a car seat driving a car driving down the street?
Seeing a driverless vehicle. I don't want the automated vehicle to park itself. I don't want it to drive itself. There was somebody that physically had to do this. I'm pretty sure before there was crash test dummies, they probably had people sitting in there. They was like, wait a minute, we can't do this. You like that one, don't you?
You know what? I'm 100% positive that before crash test dummies, they did not use real human beings, okay? I'm with 0 to 100, 100% positive that was not the case. But let's move on. Paul George wanted to play in the Drew League. He saw James Harden and Chris Paul. He saw the pros getting JaVale McGee. He saw everybody get in. He said, I want to play in the Drew League. I'm from Los Angeles. Let me get in there. The Drew League said, no. In order to play in the playoffs, you have to play in a regular season game. 0 to 100, how much do you agree with the Drew League on this?
100%. It's the rule.
It's the rules.
And as somebody that's played a lot of summer league basketball, you can't be pulling guys out of the stands and off the streets come playoff time that haven't played all season, especially NBA All-Stars.
Anybody who has played in any rec league anywhere in the world has seen this move before. Oh, you get to the playoffs, you feel good about your matchup, and then you look at the other team warming up, and you're like, wait a second, I haven't seen those guys all season. They're really tall, and they're dunking backwards. I don't like our chances. Shout out to my rec league team. Dirk Nowitzki continues his mastery of social media. First, we had him on a bike in the middle of a field in a summer workout. And then we had him missing dunks and posting them himself. And now he has changed his profile pic to this picture of himself taking a selfie of himself in front of Beyonce and her twins. 0 to 100. How much do you feel that Dirk Nowitzki photoshopped this himself?
Oh, 30.
No chance.
He didn't do that himself. No question about it.
It's too hard.
The only thing that happened was that they were using his phone. That's why I give him 30.
That's why
the other 70, somebody else clearly did it. And also, he's kind of on your corner because he's being pictured with twins. He's kind of on my corner because he's immortalizing Beyonce almost like a statue of her holding the kids. So Dirk is, as you mentioned, mastering social media to the point where we're talking about it every day.
Every single day we got something new to say about Dirk. Dirk is setting himself up to be the greatest social media person in the NBA because Joel Embiid doesn't play. That's why. Just because Joel Embiid doesn't play. Just because Joel Embiid doesn't play. I'll hit the brakes. Driverless car brakes.
Dirk is setting himself up to be a future owner with the Dallas Mavs.
Ooh, I like that, Mr. Rose. Remember where you heard it first here on Jalen Jacoby. Nick Young was out wearing a You Snitch shirt in Los Angeles over the weekend. The shirt said You Snitch on it. I believe he was at the Drew League. Jalen, 0 to 100, how much of that shirt was directed at D'Angelo Russell?
90%. Ooh. But as old man Jalen, I must say, that's one of the terms that gets thrown around, that gets inaccurately used, and sometimes that word becomes a detriment to actually aiding a situation being resolved. And I want to make sure I continue to acknowledge the definition of that term. The term snitching is Jalen and Jacoby decide that they're going to rob a store.
I'm not doing that.
They run from the store.
Not doing that either.
One of them gets caught and tells on the other. That's snitching. When me and you both go into something together and one of us get caught and tells on the other. If I'm driving down the street and I see somebody push down an old lady and snatch her purse and run, and I call the police and tell, that's not snitching.
Oh, you know what? I'm glad you clarified that, but I also want to clarify one thing. Do you know why you got caught and I didn't? Because I was dressed as a car seat when I drove away, and the police just drove right by. Next we have this. It was Angels phenom Mike Trout's birthday yesterday. He got his 1,000th hit, and he also had this very unique celebration from his teammates in the locker room. They covered him with basically all the disgusting things that they could find. Some people don't like to celebrate their birthday, and some people want everyone to know it's their birthday in the biggest celebration possible. You happen to be the latter, okay? How upset would you be if this is how we celebrated your birthday here at Jalen and Jacoby?
Oh, not going to be able to do it. That's almost like the cinnamon challenge. 5%. It ain't going down like that. There's certain things that I'm just not going to be involved in. I don't care if I'm a freshman on the team. I don't care if I'm a rookie on the team. I don't care if I'm new to the situation. But it reminds me seeing that video of a Cyndi Lauper song. You know, girls just want to have fun.
Yes, I do know that
players,
song.
They truly enjoy themselves.
They love it. What I have a theory about baseball players is, this is a theory about life. The more downtime you have in your profession, the better you are at just kind of hanging out. Because, like, the baseball pitchers, all they do is hang out all day, every day, and they've gotten really good at jokes and pranks. They're just a good time to be around. I've been around all types of athletes. Baseball players always are the best conversations and the best hangs because they have so much downtime at their job. NBA players, not a lot of downtime. They're about their business. They're moving on. They don't care about you. Baseball players always have some time for a joke. Spike Lee tweeted out a poster for a rally in support of Colin Kaepernick outside of the NFL headquarters. Now, he has since sort of separated himself somewhat from it, and it might have something to do with the fact that the poster that was tweeted out spelled Kaepernick's name wrong on it. 0100. How much is this rally about Kaepernick and how much is about Spike Lee?
The rally itself is about the fact that he's not playing football, and it isn't based on his talent. It's based on the fact that he kneeled during the national anthem. Mm-hmm. So that's 100% the reason. It's ill-conceived, however, that somebody would misspell the gentleman's name on a poster. The undercurrent that takes place here, we must pay attention to. If the goal is to have him play football this year, this probably doesn't help that cause because it further heightens the conversation amongst 32 people. This almost is like the Electoral College. I see so many people talk about the election and why certain people and why an individual won. They won because of the Electoral College, not because they won a popular vote. So with that being said, 32 individuals have decided as owners of football teams that they don't want Colin Kaepernick in their uniform, not necessarily based on his level of talent, but based on the fact that he chose to take a political stance, that they don't want to deal with the quote-unquote backlash that may come from it. But there's a flip side that nobody's talking about. What about all of the people that made him a top-selling jersey? So these are the people that participate in what may be a rally to try to help aid the scenario and bring awareness to the fact, to those who might not be normal football fans, that here's a gentleman that's clearly being blackballed out of the league because of a political stance.
If it is worth discussing, we will hit the brakes and discuss it. If not, Jalen Rose will ask for Method Man to keep it moving. First, Michael Vick broke two 50-year-old records in the NFL in basketball shoes. Keep it moving or hit the brakes?
Hit the brakes.
Michael Vick wore Air Jordan 7s during the 2002-2003 season 10 times when he threw for 3,327 yards and 17 touchdowns with 871 rushing yards.
Oh, that just sounds like a gym shoe promotion. You got me.
It is. It also sounds like he played on turf and he didn't need cleats. That's all I have to say about that one. Let's keep it moving. Johnny Manziel.
Keep it moving.
The Knicks have hired Michelle Obama's brother for a front office job.
I like that he's got this opportunity. We can keep it moving, though. It's not too much to talk about at this point.
I just like talking about the Obamas. Someone tried to sell OVO Fest tickets for $100,000. Keep it moving or hit the brakes?
Hit the brakes.
Monday's tickets sold out quickly. OVO Fest at the Budweiser stage in Toronto. Drake's took the stage with Party Next Door, Majah Jordan, Roy Woods, and brought out Cardi B and others. Would you pay $100,000 for that experience?
No, but I'm disappointed. I've never been to OVO Fest. When is it?
Right now, in Toronto. I'm sure you could make it this weekend if you wanted to. But I will say this is $100,000 can buy you like a nice home in a metropolitan area. Like you do not, it's like whatever you can just sit there and like live stream it on Periscope and save yourself $100,000. I don't know what those tickets came with, but unless they came with like a car and a house, I'm not paying $100,000 to go to a concert. Eddie Lacy got another $55,000.
Keep it moving.
Because he's
media fans are such suckers paying athletes to stay in shape.
HBO hackers have leaked more files. Keep it moving or hit the brakes?
Powers on stars. Keep it moving.
Oh, God. Joe Madden gave the Cubs an Easy Rider-themed road trip.
Hit the brakes.
Okay, good. Joe Madden had the Cubs. They were all getting on a plane. They all had motorcycle vests. And he just thought that the Cubs wanted to have more fun. One thing I love about Joe Madden is he really just like, he likes to up the fun level for his teams. So he put them all Easy Rider vests. But really, this is all just a long-winded way to get to this.
Brace yourself. Jalen Rose is about to explain a movie plot.
I should have kept it moving.
Please explain the plot to Easy Rider.
Oh, easy.
Mm-hmm.
Bikers.
Yep.
Leather.
Yeah. Yep.
Vest.
Yep.
Leather pants. High boots. loud motorbikes, at least a group of 15 individuals.
Okay.
A lot of hair.
Any plot points? What happens?
So basically, the bottom line is we're going to take over the town.
That's what they're going to do. Take over the town.
You know, and so when you get out on the freeway, it's going to be cluttered with bikes. Everybody's going to be moving out of the way. It's going to be mass hysteria.
Hysteria.
And that's pretty much it.
Let's keep it moving. Barry Bonds said 800 home runs would be a possibility if he played another season. Keep it moving or hit the brakes.
Keep it moving. Big shout, B. Bonds.
The shawls that they wear at the wall, the Night's Watch wears at the wall at Game of Thrones, are actually rugs from IKEA. Keep it moving or hit the brakes.
Hit the brakes.
Why do you hit the brakes on this one? You always do this just for me. I don't want your sympathy breaks, Jalen Rose. You have no idea what the Night's Watch is. You don't even know what IKEA is. What's IKEA?
Oh, I know about the store IKEA, but here's what I was going. That when you talked about shawls, you think about Game of Thrones. I think about Coming to America.
Exactly. They're very similar shawls, by the way. Very similar shawls. Finally, Rachel Lindsay, the Bachelorette, got engaged. Keep it moving or hit the brakes.
Hit the brakes. I got to say something about this.
Oh, no. Oh, no. No Bachelor slander.
I was holding a remote control in my hand, and before I got a chance to go to the refrigerator and come back, I seen her kiss 5 different dudes on the same episode.
That's what they do on that show, Jalen Rose. That's the beauty of that show. That is how you find love, Jalen Rose. That's how you find love. Shout out to the Bachelor franchise. Very excited about Bachelor in Paradise this summer. Shout out. Jalen, it's time to give the people what they want. Part of giving the people what they want is finding out what they want, so we go into our Twitter feed and our subreddit and listen to our voicemails and take questions from you, our listeners and viewers. The first question comes from Gusberto. Oh, no. At Jalen Rose, what do you think about Megatron visiting Miami to practice with the Miami Dolphins? Oh, no. Oh, no.
I do know this. Sitting in Miami Dolphins owner's suite at a Lions game in Detroit, Stephen Ross, who I consider a friend.
Rick Ross, any relation?
He was watching his Miami Dolphins play against the Lions, and the next year, Ndamukong Suh's on his team.
Oh, how's that work?
And I'm like, hold on now, fellow University of Michigan supporter. Now all of a sudden I see Megatron, who has Atlanta roots, at a Miami Dolphins practice. I'm like, wait a minute. So let me get this right. Are the Miami Dolphins about to try to snatch Megatron out of retirement?
That's what it looks like. That's what it looks like.
And go play with the Miami Dolphins?
That's what it looks like.
If they try to do this, I have a remedy for my Detroit Lions that I learned from the great American philosopher Deion Primetime Sanders.
What's that?
He did this to my team when he got drafted. He said he would ask them for so much money that they would have to put him on layaway. So to the Lions, the Dolphins call you about Megatron, I expect a crazy deal in return. So where it becomes a no-brainer. I do not want to see Megatron suit up in a Dolphins uniform to catch 75 balls from Jay Cutler this year. That would just break my heart.
Next, this is in our Reddit. If you go to reddit.com/r/Jalen and Jacoby, you can go into our subreddit. I'm there every single day checking out what's going on in that community. This is from Esteban Speaks. He says, last year the Heat went 30-11 in the second half of the season. Do you see this team sustaining that momentum? And what do you think the chances Whiteside gets his first All-Star game this season? Give the people what they want. They want Heat talk.
First and foremost, how about Eric Spoelstra validating himself as one of the top coaches in the game?
Yep.
Remember when Pat Riley elevated him from a position within the organization that he had been basically over a decade and a half to head coach, and people just felt like, oh, he's Pat Riley's puppet. Oh, wait, LeBron James and Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh are making him a really good coach. Now all of a sudden the team has remixed itself, the roster, and for them to start off 11-30 and finish with the exact same record, looking in the mirror, that's a terrific coaching job. I do think they can maintain a level of excellence in the Eastern Conference to the point where don't be surprised if A, Whiteside's an all-star,
Yep.
and B, they're a playoff team.
Next, and the only thing that matters is this from Twitter from A.N. Frost. Question, is Jalen filming a Walt Frazier biopic?
Maybe so. It's just a throwback to all of the people, some of the people I idolized in the 70s. My biological father, Jimmy Walker, rest in peace, Clyde Frazier, Wilt Chamberlain. That's how the OGs rocked it back then.
Next time you have them draw on your goatee with a Sharpie, maybe have them use the little Sharpie tip, not the big Sharpie tip, because it was pretty thick. It was pretty thick yesterday.
It's the exact same thing today. I didn't do anything different.
Jalen, don't lie to the people, Mr. Rose. Don't lie to the people, Mr. Rose. Don't lie to the people, Jalen Rose.
It's just the Beijing doesn't last as much 24 hours later. It was the first time I tried it other than the hairline. Bad hair day.
Thanks so much for listening to the podcast. We appreciate all your voicemails, especially voicemails regarding Jalen's crazy goatee. Don't forget, ladies or dudes, get ladies to call 985-80-JALEN. Tomorrow, as every Wednesday is Woman Crush Wednesday, we're going to use all female voicemails. Call those in right now.
What if I told you that even ordinary people can be on top of the world?
The first attempt on the North Pole by a team of women gets underway today.
The epic adventure will take them over 1,000 kilometers of hazardous sea ice.
It's thousands of miles of ice and nobody.
And so I found myself walking into this water and then sinking up to my neck.
I honestly thought I was going to die in the Arctic.
The all-new 30 for 30 podcast. Subscribe now on the ESPN app or Apple Podcasts.
30 for 30 podcast is presented by Mini. We're finding the best sports stories for you right now. And to do that, we're behind the wheel of the new Mini Countryman, the biggest Mini yet.
Please proceed to the highlighted route.
To find great sports stories, you have to get out into the world and follow your instincts. That's where the new Mini Countryman's all-wheel drive comes in handy. With all four, we can chase down a story in the city, the country, and most places in between. No matter what story you're chasing, the new Mini Countryman will help you find it. It's available now, and so are 30 for 30 podcasts.